everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. This is Allie May. This is episode number 8, and I feel so honored to have this beautiful woman, goddess, with me today to share her vision, her impact, her how she's gotten to where she is today, and how she can bring some value to your lives. In the what she has done and what works for her, and she's been doing this for a long time now, based on her backstory, which we won't dig into too deep today. We've had a little discussion offline in regards to that, and how nice it would be to bring more of the how to what self-love really looks like and feels like, and and not the just the pretty picture, I guess. There's so many elements to what self-love is, and that's in my version. But I'm just going to hand it straight over, gorgeous lady. You are the devoted self-love queen. So what is that for you?
It's an interesting title, isn't it? I'm not a fan of titles, and through interviews and things like that, and on websites and wherever else, people like descriptions. So for me, that's fun, and it's lighthearted, and I'm such a stand for women loving themselves, and I embody that within myself. So for me, self-love queen is just that. Those who know me, those who see me in my life and what I do, is all around loving self first. And I feel like it's a really important piece for all women. We're not taught how to love ourselves. We create these checklists often of, okay, like a lot of people say to me, Allie, how do I love myself more? Tell me what steps I need to take. And it's like, well, self-love's not a checklist. Self-love to me is loving self consistently. It's who you be, not what you do. And so from that perspective, if we have a look at, self-love and really loving and nurturing ourselves, it's in the way that we treat ourselves. It's in the way that we show up for ourselves. It's walking our walk and talking our talk, taking time for self, setting clear defined boundaries. There's so many aspects to it. So for me, all of those parts make up, being the self-love queen, and I feel good in that. And I love sharing on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously had a contrast as well from what that was, what you thought, what you thought self-love was. I think that, how did you used to think, what did you think that was, and what do you think it is now for you? Like, how has that transformed over your time?
Great question. It's been my journey for the last 14 years. It's like to fall in love with self a little bit more every single day, a conscious decision. And now I'm just like, boom, here we are, giving myself a title like that, self-love queen. I don't think I gave that to myself. I think somebody else did, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Like,
I think it's perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it fits now. And so I think, like, going back in the question you asked me is really interesting. I'm not sure how I would have defined self-love back then. I just knew I didn't have enough of it, and I wanted it. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be able to look myself in the mirror and love the person that was staring back at me. I didn't want to have the beliefs anymore that were getting in the way of me having what I desired. I didn't want to have the woundings around my childhood and all the things that had happened back then with my mum and my dad. Great family, and all kids make meaning of things that they play out in their adult life as well. So I knew for me that I no longer wanted to live the way that I was living, and that I didn't have this huge joy internally, a joyous person, yet something felt like it was missing. And so for me, I guess if I reflect back, I didn't have enough self-worth, or I didn't know my worth. And in that contrast of that to where I am now, it's why I teach what I do. So all of us, every single one of us, beautiful women and men, have something in our lives that has led us to do the things that we do now. And my mission on the planet is for women to self-nourish and to self-lead and to love themselves more. And I'm able to share that and step into that work and that realm because I've lived that. For me, it's really important to have all those things as women.
Yeah, totally. So what is self-love for you? Like, what is that? So how do you get self-love if you haven't got it?
Yeah, it's funny.
Can we get it online? Can we just Google it?
It's not a checklist. It's not a checklist. Self-love, for sure. Baths are amazing, and sure, the day spa is awesome, and so is massage and all of that. Like, they're all awesome aspects. Yet, like, self-love to me is in every moment, not just having a bath. It's not the tangible things that we can do to honor ourselves. They're awesome. It's all part of it. For me, self-love is about, well, how do you treat yourself?
How do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to yourself?
What things do you do in life? Do you always say yes to people when you mean no? What are your boundaries like? Do you have boundaries? Yeah, I didn't even know what a boundary was 4 years ago. So funny. So with meaning making machines, right? And everything that comes into our sphere, we give meaning to based off something from the past. And so when boundaries came in for me, literally, it was like a new language. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a clue. What is this thing called a boundary? I had nothing to refer to. I had no idea how to have boundaries. I was just this person that's like, love me, let me love you, and I'll do anything for you. I don't care
for you to love me.
Yeah, what can I do? Love me, and I'll make myself feel like shit in the process. And
that's right. I'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, and I'll run my cup dry to please you, and I'll do all the things I don't want to do just to make you happy. And so boundaries for me was huge. And I'm also referred to, people often say, they call me boundary queen and trigger queen as well, because my boundaries are so strong. So boundaries, are huge in self-love. We are taught to not put ourselves first. And I feel like a really big part of self-love is putting ourselves first. That way, our cup's overflowing to be a better parent, a better partner, a better businesswoman, whatever it is that we're desiring to be and do in life. It allows us to do it from a place of joy, fulfillment,
abundance,
exactly. Having a spark in ourselves, not being drained. When we tend to give to everybody else, and we tend to have, I call them leaky boundaries, where we don't really have boundaries at all. It's like, we'll complain about people. Oh, no one ever listens to me. Or, my man, he's X, Y, and Z, and he just doesn't do anything. I do everything for the family. Like, we go into this victim state, right? Of when we don't have boundaries, we're blaming everybody.
I've done all of that, and still, default, that is my default. I go straight there to blame, baby. I am like the typical straight away, oh my God, the peg basket fell out of the thing. Like, where? My husband, I'm like, bloody Andy, what did he do? And I'm like, oh God, there it is again. Like, I'm instantly there. Like, that is my default, but I know it. So I just laugh at myself. I go, oh my gosh, it's like, where does that come from?
It's a really cool tool if you want to use it, to go when you find yourself, if you find yourself in that spot, to just go, okay, cool. What's this thing? What do I need right now? Where am I not filling my cup? Where am I overgiving? And the outcome of overgiving is not feeling appreciated, because we're not appreciating ourselves. We're doing everything. And normally
and that would definitely be where I've overstretched myself. I'm busy, I'm running out the door, or like, too much on my plate, doing the whole things. Today's been one of those kind of days. My morning sort of started off like that. So it's been it's been one of those days, and we have those days.
We do have those days.
Loving yourself through the moments, isn't it? Like, it's just been kind. I've had to just keep breathing into those moments of the overwhelm or whatever I was feeling, earlier on, today. It's I think boundaries are huge, because we as women have definitely been brought up in the generations in our past to always give. Like, the mother would always give everything first to their children. And, it just doesn't serve us.
Not these days, it doesn't.
No, not when everybody. And I think the shift has been that women are working, they are doing all the roles. It's very different. So we have to have very clear boundaries as to what's cool and what's not okay. And I think Brene Brown, like, I love her. She's my my queen, my other queen of work, like, especially in boundaries, because she was mine. I was the same, Allie. It was like, boundary? What's a boundary? Like, what the hell is that?
What language is this that you're speaking?
I know, yeah. And and the boundary is not about putting rules on people. It's just like saying, that is just not okay with me.
Yeah. Or saying no. Like, a boundary is like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to cook dinner tonight. Just because I'm the mom or the partner doesn't mean I have to cook dinner. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. A boundary is, yeah, I'm going to say no because this doesn't feel good to me. Or, this is more important to me. A boundary is saying to your child, for me, Thursday's my goddess day. And I remember ages back, I was talking to my son and I'm like, today's my day, it's goddess day. And he's like, what? Don't you think that's selfish? He's not like that now because he knows. But at the time it was that. And it's like, yeah, nah. And so the boundary, like all the guilt would come up on a Thursday if my son wanted something, because it's my day for me, not for him or not for my partner or not for anybody else. And it took me a while to be okay with that. The boundary though is, here's my day for me and that gets to be for me. And you don't have to like it. That's cool. And I'm still doing this anyway. You don't have to understand that I'm still doing it anyway. And then also through that, we get to educate, like my son now knows that's my day. And there's no question on that. So does my partner, so does everybody in my life. So my team, everything, everyone in my life knows that, it's like, that's just how it is. That's a boundary. And when we cross our own boundaries is when we go into a space of blame, anger, burnout, fatigue, all of those things.
Yeah, I can so very much relate to that. And what a gift, like that gift that we give like our kids, by putting that, profound, professing our boundaries and following our boundaries and creating that goddess day that like you have, for your son, when your son has a relationship, that he creates that for his partner as well. And how, just how beautiful that ripple effect becomes, because that's what it's about, isn't it? Like that, well, for me, it's about that ripple effect. How can we create some change in our lives? Like we can't give our kids what we don't have. How old's your son? He's a bit older than mine. 18, yeah. So like he's right in that prime of, understanding what that really does look like in the real world out there, and what that looks like when mum, I guess, hasn't had her goddess day and has her goddess day, because that's the contrast, isn't it? It's like, this is epic. Mum is really awesome because she's giving to me now from a full cup.
Yeah. And for me now, goddess day is every day. It's not like, yes, it's a set day, and goddess day is a way of being. It's like self-love. It's just a way of being. Yeah. And we get to create new habits for ourselves if we so choose that, where that's just the way of being. It's this new era of being. We get to have that in our lives. So yeah, my son doesn't just see me on a day where this is just goddess day and it stops there. It's like, well, every day for me is about treating myself like the goddess I am. It's about self-respect. It's about self-love. It's about self-worth in every single moment. The day just started as something for myself when I wasn't doing all of that, when I wasn't loving myself enough, when I was working like a Trojan horse and it was like far out and I was in like a bit of burnout. It's like, I don't want to live like this. And so the goddess day, and I love you wearing your shirt, goddess day was created as a day for myself to give back to myself, to remember my worth, to honor myself, to say I am enough, and to take that time to fill my cup. And then over time, other women from all around the globe have started taking their own goddess days. It's become a movement. And then that goddess day gets to filter into every single aspect of life. So then it's the way of being, not just a checklist.
I love that. I'm so glad you covered that. I'm so glad, because it's not just an everyday, it's not just one day, and it's not the massage, it's all the stuff that makes it the goddess day, which is us. We are the goddess, we are the being within the goddess, and that's every day. And I love that. And I think maybe that is the message here today. Like start small. If you're not feeling that self-love, I'm going to hand that over to you. So you're gone. Hey.
Yeah. I am sorry. I just wanted to call out to my son. Give me 2 seconds.
Sure, go.
All right, thank you. I just got it's like full on loud, and it's like I'm just letting them know that I'm on an interview. I'm sorry. What is the question?
No, that's okay. Look, because I love keeping these kind of under that like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So we're coming up to that time. So now just to wrap that up is, if somebody's not feeling that self-love within themselves, they've got all the, the talk, the overwhelm, the busy riding, driving the vehicle right now, what advice would you give our listeners to?
Yeah, it's just one step at a time. You know, there's no destination. And I see so many people going like, when I'm here, or when I have this, or okay, this is this. It's like, you're living right now, so live right now. Choose you right now. And if it's a process for you, which it definitely was for me, it's been a 14-year conscious journey, to, you know, and it doesn't have to take that long. It's just a choice, and we can choose any point in time. Know that, you know, allow yourself to experience what you get to experience. There may be relationships that aren't serving in your life, and there might be a conversation that you get to have. There may be things in your life that are left undone or unsaid, conversations that get to be had. There could be friendships that are no longer feeling good in your life. There could be a job that's no longer feeling great, and every time you go, you're like heavy. It's like honoring yourself enough to say, this isn't serving me anymore. It doesn't feel good, so I'm choosing something different. Is it hard? Definitely at the start. And then as you begin to do that more, and you begin to put your own needs first, and you begin to listen to the things that you desire, and you begin to take action on the things that you desire, and let go of those friendships, let go of that job, whatever it is in your life that's not serving, as you start to honor that, then it will just become a new normal, where it will be a non-negotiable for you to live that way. It'll be a non-negotiable for you to choose you, you know. And so just start where you're at, and be okay with that, and be okay with your journey. Your journey is not mine. Mine is not yours. It's not somebody else's. Everybody's got their stuff. Do you stay in your own lane, and just take that step each day, if that's what you want in your life.
Amazing, babe. Thank you so much. You've really landed some massive nuggets there for the audience and those who'll be watching this on the replay. So massive thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go and go be with your family. Really appreciate you. Love you. I'll grab the link and everything, and I'll put it in this live. Grab your Goddess Day. You know, as Ali said, it's not just the day, it's a lifestyle. It's who you are.
Yay! Thanks, beautiful.
Gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, how was that? Like, I just want to wrap this up as well, because I love Allie, and I love her message there that she had on what self-love is. You know, it's not a day, it's not a massage, it's not a it's not a facial. You know, it's really doing the work. It's getting clear with your boundaries. It's noticing the stuff that's not lighting you up. It's creating some change. It is noticing things that you actually do and enjoy, and you start to do that, so you become the best done version of yourself. And that's definitely been my journey as well. You know, as Allie and I were talking about boundaries, didn't even know what they were. Boundaries aren't easy when we haven't done them, but you have to practice. You got to start somewhere. Start small. Be okay if you fuck it up. Like, it's okay. You know. Keep practicing. So thank you again, Allie. Love you, darling. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you all